Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to the 6th of June 2025. Time is currently 2:30 p.m. So about an hour and 40 minutes left of trading today. And don't forget, this is the last trading day of the week and it is a long weekend in New South Wales. I'm not sure the status in other states. Definitely not a long weekend in Queensland, but I'm not sure about the other states. And that means Monday, the ASX is closed. So this is the last trading day until next Tuesday. So for all those Queenslanders watching this, enjoy working on Monday when the ASX is closed. Okay, so the agenda for today's video. What I'll do is I'll go through the ASX today, have a look at the best and worst performing sectors, indices, briefly go through the top gainers and top losers. Then we'll have a look at the top 5 stocks of the day. Before that, I might mention honourable mention. I said mention twice there. I might give you an honourable mention, just one company. And then after the top 5 stocks of the day, I will also continue the chart of the day. Another company I am trading, but it looks like this company share price has broken out to a long-term, maybe not long-term, at least a multi-month high. It's in the energy space. And then I might have a look at one or two of your comments. Now, before we have a look at the ASX today, whenever I wake up, after I do Wardle, I always have a look at how Wall Street has performed overnight. And I notice it was down a little bit. The second thing I do is have a look at the best and worst performing companies on the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. And at the top of that list, in terms of worst performers, was Tesla, down at 14%. So I thought maybe some bad news had come out. But no, it's just a spat between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I wouldn't call it a lover's quarrel. I'd call it a really nasty divorce. That's what it seems like they're going through right now. So it's always amusing to see billionaires quabble between each other and in the open. Quabble between each other in the open for everyone to see. Anyway, that's why Tesla share price was down 14%, probably because of some threats from Trump. Okay, now on to the ASX today. No surprise that we are in the red. NASDAQ was down about 0.8%, Dow Jones down about 0.2, 0.3%. What was a surprise is that we did begin the day in the green. Yes, the XJO and XJO were both in the green for the first 2.5 hours of trading. Even tech was up in the first few hours of trading, which was a little bit surprising because of what happened on Wall Street overnight. But we have seen the indices drop off, particularly from about midday, and the only explanation I have for that is possibly the Asian markets. Going to have a quick look. Hang Seng's down a little bit. Nikkei's up a little bit. American futures actually up a little bit as well. So not sure what's happening. But if you had to have a look at the XJO right here, it is right on all-time highs, which was reached back in February. And typically when something gets to all-time highs that were achieved like 3 or 4 months ago, there is going to be a little bit of resistance at that level because a lot of investors are actually quite hesitant about buying something that is at all-time highs, which is sort of ridiculous because over time, well, not everything, but the indices go up over time. We're always going to see the indices reach all-time highs eventually. So I suppose the thinking here is, well, it's back at the levels where it was in February, and there's still a lot of risk out there. So this is probably a time to think about selling or taking profits. Okay, so let's have a look at the best and worst performing sectors. Energy's had a good day, relatively speaking, up 0.48%. I suppose relatively speaking, that's a pretty good day. And if you have a look at all the sectors here, no sector is up or down by more than 0.5% absolute value. So the worst performing sector is IT, down 0.47%, and the best performing sector is energy, up 0.48%. It's just that most sectors had done bad today, well, relatively bad today. So 3 sectors up and about 7 or 8 down. ASX 20 is actually only down 0.06%. Gold, I'm assuming, has had a negative day, up down 2.21%. Not surprising there. In fact, a company that almost was or is the stock of the day is a gold company who did release a bit of a downgrade. We've seen a few gold companies release downgrades over the past few weeks. So let's have a look at the ASX 20. I'm assuming Woodside would be up. Maybe companies like Transurban, stuff like that's up. Let's have a look. Banks, I'm assuming banks down 0.45%. I'm assuming at least 3 or 4 major banks are down, and I'm also wondering if iron ore is up. So let's have a look at the ASX 20. And I would also assume, I'm going to say 12 companies down, 8 up. Oh, 11 up, 9 down. Best performing company has been Woodside, Fortescue, BHP. There is one bank up. Actually, a couple of banks are up. NAB and Westpac are both up. We do have Transurban there. So that must mean CBA is down. And what's the other bank? We have NAB, Westpac, and ANZ. ANZ's down and CBA down 0.93%. In fact, CBA is the worst performing bank and second worst performing company in the ASX 20, with REA Group down 3.62%. Okay, let's just move on to the top gainers. We'll do this fairly quickly. A company called West Cobar Metals up 60%. I did have a look at this one with the possibility of including this company in the top 5 stocks, but I decided against it. The company is up on an acquisition or completion of a Mystique Gold Project acquisition. I did have a quick look at this, very quick look, but it's just a prospective, whatever you call it. What do you call it? Prospective tenement or something like that. Where is it? The company had previously announced a conditional 100% acquisition of an exploration license, highly prospective for organic gold deposits. So it looks like the market just likes this acquisition, or in a way likes that this acquisition has been completed. So let's have a look at the chart for this one, which was WC1. I was going to say WA1, but that's completely different. WC1, West Cobar Metals. It's not the worst looking chart. Share price has been a downtrend. I'm wondering when they did make this acquisition announcement, because share price popped up on the 20th of February. It also popped up on the 24th of February. So I'm just going to go back, have a look at when they did announce this particular acquisition. And I'm just wondering why the market all of a sudden likes it. Here we go. Strategic WA Gold Exploration Acquisition on the 5th of March. And there it is. Nothing really happened on that day. In fact, the share price went down. So why did the share price go up on the 20th of February? Let's have a quick look. 20th of February, successful antimony leaching at Buller Park. Okay, there you go. So anyway, that looks like that maybe this long-term downtrend is coming to an end. It's been going down for a long time. Share price has popped up. We have seen a little bit of selling, but also the volume has been quite large. So I'm a little bit curious to see how the particular share price goes in the next few days, next few trading days. What else is here? A company called Locate Technologies is in my top 5. I thought that was interesting enough what they have announced over the last few days. Now, I didn't remember this company's name at all. I was like, well, I've never heard of this company. Name change. Used to be called a Zoom, something like that. Zoom Technologies. They've just changed the name to Locate Technologies. Don't know why. But they did release an interesting announcement that I thought, yeah, I'll include that in top 5 stocks. Apart from that, nothing else I'm going to speak about when it comes to the top gainers. I'm just going to have a quick look at Australian Strategic Materials. Share price is up 19% on fairly good turnover. So let's just have a look. And what do they release? Growing momentum in metal and alloy sales, which is interesting because this is not marked price sensitive, which means they thought this was not enough to move the share price of the company, but they're wrong. They are wrong. Strong momentum in increased metal and alloys inquiries in or at the Korean metals plant. Okay, let's have a look at the chart for ASM. See if this is an interesting chart. And nothing's popping up. Where is ASM? There, no, that's not it. Oh, there it is. It went straight past it. Ooh, it's an okay chart. A lot of excitement in this company not that long ago, April. So we're talking about less than a month ago, actually 2 months ago. And share price did pull back. And even though this share price has rallied nicely today. There is going to be a little bit of resistance because all the shareholders have bought higher prices. There wasn't massive volume at that point. So anyway, not for me. Top gainers by market cap. I think we can move through this one fairly quickly. Tyro Payments has a nice bounce after they announced that they are changing CEOs. Electro-optic systems keeps on zooming higher. This was the chart of the day. I think it was last week, or maybe started this week. And look at that chart. It's just zooming high. But look at the volume. Look at that massive increase in volume. So someone likes this one. Someone likes this one. I wasn't brave enough to add to my position when it did break out, and sort of thinking now, oh, maybe I should have, but not keen at this point in time because the share price has gone up significantly in a fairly short period of time. Anyway, so let's move on. Still surprised it keeps going up. Coronado's up again. And that's about it. So let's have a look at the top losers. And Koonenberry is in my top 5 stocks, so we can move on from that one. I don't remember much. Banda is in my top 5 stocks, so we can move on from that one. And I can't remember anything else. So let's have a look at the top losers by market cap. West African Resources is down again. Redox is down again. So quite a few companies in my top 5 stocks we've just mentioned. So Banda, Koonenberry, Locate, and there's one more apart from Redox. And I don't think we're going to see it here. Seven West Media, nope. Elsight, Cosol were down a fair bit yesterday, and further downside for that company. Just going to have a quick look at Elsight because share price of this company had rallied nicely, so this could be nice, or the start of a nice little pullback, and possibly is. Just how long this pullback goes on for remains to be seen. But it could pull all the way back down to below 70 cents because the share price has rallied a fair bit. Okay, now on to the top 5 stocks of the day. Before that, we'll talk about the honourable mention, which is EBR Systems. Share price up 5.86% today on the first US commercial implants of WISE CRT system completed. So this company is moving towards, I suppose, ramping up in their ramping up in their receipts and revenue production, or whatever. I'm just going to have a quick look. They issue Appendix 4Cs? No, they don't. I just want to know, I'm just wondering if the company has any revenue at this point in time. So no revenue. So they are beginning to possibly bring in revenue and receipts soonish, based off what I'm reading there. They also did a capital raising not that long ago. So they also released a presentation alongside that capital raising. I might have a quick look at that one for EBR. Now, the chart is not the best looking chart, but in saying that, the share price has pulled back, and I think we have seen the selling come to an end. So share price sort of broke out, it did break out on the 3rd of January. Share price rose 24% on the day, was in a beautiful uptrend, then pulled back significantly all the way back down to almost $1. So maybe the selling has come to an end. Share price has been going sideways for about almost 1 month. And I do like when that happens, going sideways. Doesn't mean the bottom is in just yet. I do think we need some confirmation, but I think maybe there is a chance that the selling has come to mostly an end. So that's the honourable mentioned EBR Systems. Now on to the top 5 stocks of the day, and coming in at number 5 with a bullet, because they did release an announcement. DGL did release an announcement at 12:29 p.m. Could have missed this one, but luckily I did check. The announcements released after 10 a.m. They released a business update. Now, I had been holding this one for a while, but I got out of DGL because the way I was looking at this one, I think there possibly is some value in DGL, but I need to see some evidence that things are moving in the right direction. This could be the first sign. Even though the share price is down, this could be a first sign. They start off with the outlook. Despite some general weakness in industrial conditions in Australia and New Zealand and softer performance in our lead asset battery recycling AdBlue operations, we are generally seeing solid demand for our products and services across our network. And in the business update, their trading performance has improved in the second half of financial year 25 compared to the first half. There continues to be solid demand for the breadth of specialized services So, so it sounded better than what it could have been. Share price is still down. The lower EBITDA and net profit in the current year has been driven primarily by high employee premises and depreciation costs. The company is well progressed on taking the necessary steps to realign its cost base and improve productivity to return DGL to a positive growth trajectory. So there are signs that maybe things are starting to turn a little bit more positive for DGL. Now, DGL's markup, I am assuming it's like 150 million. 114.09 million. Yeah, so I might have a closer look at DGL just to see if there's any value or how cheap this company is based off their most recent results. And if things start turning more positive, this could be an interesting value play. I'll just say could be. But it'd have to be that because the chart still does not look good. In fact, yeah, the chart looks horrendous. Share price down to probably all-time lows. Yeah, well, yes, all-time lows. And there's no end in sight. A few times it looked like the share price sentiment had been turning more positive for this company back in early 2024 and late 2024. It looks like maybe the share price was moving to an uptrend, but that slight optimism came to an end fairly quickly on both occasions. Okay, so I'll have a closer look at this one because maybe the market is overreacting to the downside. Coming in number 4, we have Locate Technologies. Used to be called Zoom 2 or something, Zoom Technologies. And the reason I know that is because I just opened up here in Market Index, and it says Locate Technologies, formerly Zoom 2U Technologies. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a very quick look. Yeah, we used change of company name and revised constitution on the 7th of May. So we're talking about 1 month ago. That's probably why I thought, oh, I've never heard of this company before. So I'm just going to go back to their most recent quarterly cash flow report released on the 30th of April. So we are talking about just over 1 month ago. And with companies like this, I want to see how much receipts they have. So we're talking about 1.9 million receipts in the quarter and 5 million receipts in the first 9 months of the year. Slightly operating cash flow negative and also slightly free cash flow negative, but close. I mean, things could change for the company where they do become operating cash flow and free cash flow positive if they don't really start to expand their spending. They also have a little bit of debt. Yeah, $4 million in financing facilities. I'm not the biggest fan of that. And the company currently has a markup, I'm going to say $20 million, $30.5 million. Now, the reason I'm a little bit low there is because the share price has really gone bonkers lately. Now, let's have a look at why. And I'll be honest with you, I have not looked at this company for a while. But I saw the Treasury update announcement released a few days ago, and I thought, let's have a look at this. And they're talking about Bitcoin. Looks like the Bitcoin trader or something. They call themselves a technology company transforming last-mile delivery through AI-driven solutions that improve the customer experience. And then they're providing a Treasury update. Now, they also mention their core business, centered around 2 primary platforms, Locate 2U and Zoom 2U. So they're still doing, they're still focusing on their core business. But for some reason, they've decided to start trading Bitcoin, which I do find amusing. So as per the announcement on the 29th of May, their intention is to build a long-term strategic holding of Bitcoin, which we believe may support future acquisitions and growth initiatives. So they have bought a couple of $2 million, looks like, $1 million worth of Bitcoin. $1 million worth of Bitcoin. So anyway, let's have a look at the chart, and we can see the share price of this company just going bonkers recently. So this must be on the back of them getting into Bitcoin. So they released that announcement on the 29th of May, also a placement, and the share price has really gone bonkers since then. At that point, the share price closed on that day at 7 cents. Share price has gone as high as 18 cents today. Now, a fair bit of selling has come in. Share price got as high as 18 cents, is currently at 13.5 cents. Started there at 11 cents. So, and we have also seen a fair bit of volume as well. Look at that volume increase for this company, Locate Technologies. That's probably why they changed their name, because they want to locate more Bitcoin, mining more Bitcoin. I have no idea. Anyway, so it seems like there has been a fair bit of interest in this company because they're getting into Bitcoin. Anyway, so that's company coming in number 4. Number 3, we have Koonenberry Gold. Share price down 27.42%. This company share price, I remember mentioning this company at least twice before, and they released another drill result today. Koonenberry returns 150 meters at 0.71 grams per ton gold from 5th drill hole at Enmore. Now, I'm just going to go back and have a look at the trade history to when the share price went off. It's all over the place. Now, there's not one day, is it? I was looking for one day when the share price might have increased 100%, but I can't really see it. Anyway, so if we go back through some of their drill results, here we go. 149 meters at 0.94 grams per ton on the 20th of May. And on that particular day, the share price actually decreased 11.94%. And let's go back. Go back 3 months. Enmore third hole, 102 meters at 1.1 grams per ton. Second hole returns 172.9 meters at 2.07 grams per ton. And on the 2nd of April, 170 meters at 1.75 meters grams per ton. I wonder if we can go back even further than that. We'll go back a year. Oh no, they started drilling at that point. So probably one thing you'll notice is the grade has been decreasing fairly, I wouldn't say fairly significantly, but has definitely been decreasing. So they went from 172.9 meters at 2 grams per ton all the way down to 150 meters at 0.71 grams per ton. So obviously that has something to do with the share price decreasing 27.42%. The market is a little bit disappointed by these results. Now, the other thing I would mention here is that that's a strike zone, that strike depth is quite large, 150 meters, but they've been, talking about strike depths of between 150 and over 200 meters in their announcements, but the grade has been going down. So let's have a look at the chart for Koonenberry. And now, personally, I have no interest in this. And the chart had been looking really good. In fact, there wasn't any single day where the share price took off. Now, you could say the 20th of January, that was a nice little breakout. Some nice little volume had been coming in at that point, and the share price was about 2 cents. Just see what happened on the 20th of January. What happened on that day? Koonenberry identifies 4 kilometres gold trend at Prince of Wales project. So that was sort of the breakout announcement. And from there to the high, share price went from 2 cents to 9.5 cents. But the share price has pulled back significantly. In fact, the share price has more than halved. In fact, this chart looks sort of negative now. Maybe not sort of, it does look negative. Okay, coming in number 2, we have Banda Mining. Share price down 12.73%. Not surprising. Released a guidance update today, and it was a downgrade. So whenever a company releases downgrade, you're going to see, more than likely, share price fall a fair bit. So they're talking about gold production April, May, making May year-to-date gold production to 82.5 thousand ounces. The forecast for June is produced up to 12.5 thousand ounces, with June quarter production anticipated to be 24.5 thousand ounces. Then the second bullet point, the reduction in ounces produced has primarily been caused by extended downtime. So this is a downgrade in terms of production, and now they're telling us why there is a downgrade in production. I do like when they do give reasons why, but when I read through this, my first thoughts were, well, why didn't you be more conservative with your forecast? Because this does not sound like it's something that was like a black swan event. This was something that probably happens at most mines. So caused by extended downtime from the processing plant due to the installation of lifter and lining upgrades. So that was not a surprise. That was probably planned. to the primary mill. In addition, the commissioning and ramp up of the mill has taken longer than expected to achieve targeted daily rate throughputs rates of 3,700 to 4,000. So again, be more conservative with your forecasting. So that's my only, if I had any sort of recommendations, it's be more conservative, because this sort of thing happens all the time. Little things can happen. Little things can go wrong, which can affect your production. Anyway, so share price down 12.95% or whatever it was. And the chart for this one had been looking really good. And I'm wondering if it's not looking good anymore. No, I think it still looks pretty good. I have no qualms with this chart for Banda. I still remember this one breaking out. And I was thinking at that point, oh, this could be a nice little buy. This was back in late 2023, October. Share price went above 16 cents in November. And it's gone from 16 cents to, it has been not quite. I was going to say, has almost been a 10 bagger, not quite. But the chart still looks pretty good. Even though the share price has pulled back today, chart still looks pretty good for Banda. Okay, coming in number one, we have Redox. Okay, so let's go have a look at the comment. I suppose this also kills two birds with one stone. Actually, kills three birds with one stone, because originally Redox was going to be my chart of the day, and then they released an announcement today, and then I saw comments. So this sort of kills three birds with one stone: stock of the day, comment, and also chart of the day. But we'll also have a look at another company's chart, Karoon Energy, which is the chart of the day. Anyway, so just James A. And it's nice. There's toing and froing here. For three posters. End of financial year bargain, Redox, yikes, Forest Hill says. Looks like share price fell off cliff. What's the story there? Ben Hunter says, convince me, what's the market not liking? About why is it an overreaction? Just James N said, result missed expectation by a few miles. And so has been trending down, going to keep an eye on it. Okay, so let's have a look. Which one should we start off with? Let's start off with a chart. Why was this the chart of the day? Simple reason, this was a trend killer. So I was trading this, got in sometime in early 2024, nice looking chart. In fact, I think I got in during this period when the share price was going sideways. Share price or chart was looking pretty good, going up and up and up. And then on the 20th of February, when they did release results, share price dropped 20.9%. I can't remember. I think I sold on that day. For me, that was a get out of this stock or this trade straight away. And you can probably see why I did that. Now, there could have been a chance the share price rebounded fairly quickly. But in this sort of situation, I don't want to take that risk, because I'd say by percentage chance, by probability, share price more than likely will go down after this sort of day. Now, on occasion, it will go up. And I've seen instances when I've sold out of these sort of situations and then the share price rebounds. A good example of that is Perenti. I sold out of Perenti and the share price has rebounded. Look at that, sold out on that day, share price has rebounded to new all-time highs. But these sort of situations are far less common than what we typically see with Redox. They release a bad result and the share price just keeps on falling. It's why I call it a trend killer, but not all these play out the same way. It's just based off probability. Anyway, so the share price, I sold on that day for about $3.40, we'll just say. And the share price now currently is just above $2. Now, you can see the share price going sideways from about March, middle of March, all the way through to start of June. And then all of a sudden, look what happened. Look at the share price being sold off here. 4 big sell-off days in a row on high volume. If I had to guess, if I had a guess and I only had one guess, I'd say there is a major shareholder getting out. That's what I would say, major shareholder getting out, because it's consistent selling. It's not one big drop like we saw back in February. I can definitely see this would have been a bad announcement. There is no obvious bad announcement here. And to confirm that, if we go to announcements, they have released no announcements in the last, 3 months. But they did get a price query from the ASX. So the ASX was paying attention to this. They noticed share price dropping a fair bit on higher volume. And they would have been, hey, to Redox, What's happening here? Do you have any explanation? Do you have some information that you have not released to the market that could explain the share price drop? If not, is there any other explanation? And they actually did give us some ideas on why the share price might be dropping. Just a few ideas. I'm not sure if I agree with those. So typically the answer to question 1 is no, and that's exactly what they said. So that means I don't have to answer question 2. So question 1 is the company aware of information concerning it that has not been announced to the market, which if known by some in the market could explain the recent trading in its securities. Essentially, this is saying, is there any insider trading happening here? Is anyone taking advantage of information that has not been released in the market and taking advantage of that and selling their shares? And sometimes you'll see yes, and I do get more interested if I see yes at that point. If they answer no to question 1, they go to question 3. They don't have to answer question 2. And this is when the company can be more creative, because the ASX asks them, if the answer to question 1 is no, is there any other explanation that Redox may have for the recent trading in securities? It's really open-ended. It's really broad. You could say anything here. Management could say anything here. They could put out some information that they might not have been able to use or may not have been able to put into announcement. Sometimes that does happen. ASX will say, no, you can't put this in an announcement. And so they can be a little bit more creative here. A lot of times you will see a company say no, which makes me a little bit upset, because I think for all instances, when a company does receive a price query, say something here. Just say something. Give us something. Just give us a little bit. Anyway, so they said they are not able to make any definitive statements as to the factors influencing the trading of securities. However, the company considers that recent trading in securities could be attributed to, so this is a company becoming creative. Redox is covered by 5 sell-side analysis. The 5 sell-side analysis forecasts are tracked by Redox as an indicator of the market's earnings expectations. So this is something I've realized over the last few years, that a lot of times a company doesn't have any sort of expectations, but they rely on sell-side analysis for the expectations. And when a company does release results and it misses expectations, the market's expectations, that's when the share price could tumble, even if the company hasn't released any sort of guidance. The 5 sell-side analysis provide forecasts of key measures of Redox earnings for the full year ending 30th of June. Morgan Stanley is one of the 5 sell analysis covering Redox. We are aware that on Tuesday, the 3rd of June, Morgan Stanley revised their forecast lower, citing external macroeconomic factors that are well known in the market. So taking a bit of a hit, taking a bit of a swipe at Morgan Stanley, because they're saying, well, lowering their forecast, even though they're talking about factors that are well known to the market. Everyone should be aware of this. So why isn't Morgan Stanley? That's how I took it anyway. Low levels of liquidity in Redox securities magnifies any movement up or down. There is a certain element of truth to that. And broader macro uncertainty domestically, noting Australia's GDP being lower than expected, as released by the Australia Bureau of Statistics. I don't think that has playing a role at all, because we would have seen a massive drop in the market. So I think I think we can rule that one out. So maybe it is something to do with sell-side analysis or brokers downgrading Redox. So they mentioned 3rd of June. Let's just go back here. And the share price, actually did start dropping on the 3rd of June. So maybe that's all it is. And maybe the market is really overreacting to this. I'd say this is significantly oversold. Now, the share price did drop a fair bit today. And the last time I tried to buy, when I thought the share price of a company was oversold, was New Farm. And we just had, we've started to see bouncing maybe. Maybe we're starting to see a bounce. But it's hard to really trade on this sort of situation, because I do expect a bounce. But the other thing is share price. Ooh, that's interesting. There was a nice little support level right there at 220. Share price has fallen through that, and looks like it fell through that today. So that could be interesting to see if it remains below 220. Anyway, so that's Redox coming in at number 1, the stock of the day. Stock of the day. Okay, chart of the day is Karoon Energy. Why Karoon? Well, I am trading this, so that's 1 tick across, and I did get in a little bit early. So I thought this was sort of like a preemptive trade. So back in March, I think it was, March, share price looked like it was moving into an uptrend. And then we had the tariff debacle, and the share price just dropped like a rock. But I knew that if the share price could get above around about this line, this dashed line, if the share price could get above that, that would be a nice potential, not potential, this would be a breakout. And this happened 3 days ago. It happened on the 4th of June. Share price up 4.2% on that day. And the share price in the next 2 days has gone up a little bit. So this is looking like a nice breakout for Karoon Energy. Share price in a downtrend since it was showing signs of strength back in April, but has been a downtrend since the end of 2023 when the share price was about 250. So there's plenty of upside left for Karoon at these levels, but looks like maybe the share price and the sentiment in this company is starting to shift more positive. Okay, that is all I have for today's video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who's qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.